Hi. It's been a very long time. Hello, how are you? I've missed you. I I really have. Please forgive me if this sounds very weird or if I'm not in the normal swing of things. I mean, I never had a rhythm, I never had like a flow, but those how do I explain? I hope that you can give me some wiggle room, some space to just be a little weird, be a little awkward in front of the camera as I just try and get into the swing of things. So, with that being said, a couple of weeks ago, I celebrated my 24th birthday. And even though it's supposed to be this happy, exciting, feel-good day where I'm being celebrated and it's all about me, I often find myself getting this feeling of dread that really prevents me from enjoying the day to its entirety. There's a couple of reasons why I don't particularly like my birthday or why I feel some type of way when it's coming around the corner. And I just wanted to share that with you and see if it maybe resonates with you, if maybe you're the same way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. For me, the number one issue that I have with birthdays, or at the very least for mine in particular, is that they serve as a reminder of where I am in life, or at the very least where I want to be and how I fall short of meeting that goal. I get this feeling of dread around my birthday because it means that another year has gone by and I have not changed in so many aspects of my life. Especially after you turn 18, there are so many milestones and expectations that people expect you to reach at a certain age. You need to be doing this by the time you turn this age, and you need to be doing that by the time you reach that age. You need to have graduated college by the time you turn 22, and in the workforce when you turn 23. And when I say the workforce, I don't mean a job that pays for your livelihood. I mean a job, a career that is admirable, that is reputable, one that you're going to be comfortable doing for the next 40 years of your life, or however long you plan on working. There's an expectation at a certain age that you need to have moved out of your parents' house, that you need to be getting married or looking to settle down or even buy a house of your own. If you're not there, if you're not at that milestone, at that expectation, you should be very, very near to it, or at the very least actively trying to get there because you're behind. It's okay that you're 27 and not married because you're in a 3-year relationship with your partner, and we all know that you're going to get married. You're just waiting for the right time to do it. You're 20 and single? Okay, that's fine. You're actively dating, right? After all, you don't want to be 30 and single, right? Can you imagine? Whether it's your job, your relationship, the amount of money that you have, the places that you've been to, your body goals, how many kids that you have, there's an expectation that at a certain year, you should be at a certain spot in your life. And when it comes to your birthday, it's a reminder that you might be very far away from that point that people expect you to be at. And that is very daunting for some people. The fact that it's coming or it's around the corner and you're not there yet. Over the course of these last few weeks, it's been very reflective to see the different stories that people have about the time when they were my age, because you can see how far and drastic and different people's life experiences are. Yet we only hear one perspective, one story about where you're supposed to be at any given age. And when that's the only framework that you have for where you're supposed to be at any given age, it's very limiting and it makes you feel bad that you're anything farther from. Then there's also the concept of aging and the fact that you have to acknowledge that you're a year closer to death. That's a big one for me. Lately, and this isn't directed to any particular birthday, like it's not about this one in particular that just passed, but lately I feel as though I've been running out of time. And I feel like that's crazy, no? I'm only 24. Obviously, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Right? If we can get a little metaphysical for a second, there is no moment that is guaranteed other than the present, other than this one. It's very unlikely, but the fact of the matter is that I can die at any given point. Even as I'm filming this right now, I could... I'm going to keep that in. That's funny. But yeah, if the past is any indicator of the future and I live like any average American, I'm going to die somewhere between my 70s and my 80s. That means that I have a good 50 years left before I even get close to dying. But for some reason, I feel as though I've already reached the finish line when I'm only just starting my life. I feel like I've only got so many good years left before it's all over. And I just can't stop but think about the fact that we're going to die one day, bro. Like I won't be here. So what does that mean with the time? I don't know. I don't know. And it's not just quantity of life, but also quality, right? I know that not every year is created equally. I would much rather another year in my 20s versus another year in my 70s or 80s, just because of my concept of what it is like to be older and to be less dependent, less of that ability to where you're agile and mobile and mentally lucid. I don't know if this makes any sense. I don't know if this section is making any sense. How can I be ready to die when I don't feel as though I fully lived? You know what I mean? The ability to make peace with the finality of the human condition is just something that eludes me, honestly. But let's step outside of the metaphysical for a second and talk about comparing ourselves to others, to our friends, to our family members, our coworkers, how we stack up against them when they're our age. I'm not a smart person. What? I am. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm a pretty smart pickle, and I know that comparison is the thief of joy. However, for some reason, it's very difficult to not think as though I am doing worse than others, how others are doing better than I am, especially when I get a glimpse of their lives through things like social media. Maybe it was fine that you had less than $10,000 saved, right? You were 22 years old, you were fresh out of college, you had no work experience, there was college debt, there were student loans, all this stuff, right? All of these excuses, all of these reasons why you couldn't financially support yourself. But you're 26, you're 27. What do you mean you can't financially support yourself? Huh? You haven't bought a car? You still take public transportation? You still have roommates? So-and-so is just graduating from Harvard Law. So-and-so is just getting out of Stanford Med School. So-and-so just got the tech job at Google. What do you mean? Your cousin Rachel is just putting the down payment on a home, and you're still working at the coffee shop? When you hear these kinds of statements, it just makes you go into a spiral of constantly questioning yourself and why you're not good and why the person is always better. Why is it that you and so, despite being the same age or roughly around the same age, are in such different positions, especially when you have such similar circumstances? You guys went to the same school, or you're from the same hometown, maybe you come from the same socioeconomic conditions, yet for some reason they're on the up and you're still down here. How is that fair? And for some reason, when it comes to your birthday, you remind yourself that because when so-and-so was at this age, they were doing this with themselves and they were doing that. They were vacationing at Aruba or the Dominican Republic, for God's sakes, and you couldn't even afford to take out your friends to a fancy dinner. Despite the fact that you know better, when it comes to your birthday, you compare yourself to others around you. And this is just something I just thought of right now, but it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. Hold on, let me just start that over. Despite the fact that you know better, when it comes to your birthday, you can't help but compare yourself to those around you. And sometimes you might even compare yourself to yourself. Whoa, I can't even... this is definitely not a me thing, but it's possible that when it comes to your birthday, you might think to a different time in your life when things were probably better, because maybe you're 33 years old and you have no one around you. When you were 29, turning 30, all of your friends were here. They set aside a time to give you the best birthday possible. They surprised you. They lavished you with all these gifts. And you just couldn't think of a better time. But here you are at 33, turning 34, whatever, and you can't help but feel more alone than you've ever been in your entire life. That's crazy. Again, not me, but, sorry. And now that I think about that, there's also this pressure of having to do something. That's a big one for me. I think that's the biggest one. Save the best for last, huh? This is a special day, right? It only comes once a year. So why wouldn't you want to do something special? I know it's your day. This is all about you. But you really want to spend your birthday indoors doing nothing? I know we should be doing what you want to do, but you're choosing to work today? You didn't ask for the day off? It's your special day. We don't have to do anything if you don't want to, but you at the very least don't want to go out to eat? For some reason, even though it's your day and it's about you, there seems to be a right way to spend your day. Let's just take, for example, eating, right? Going out to a restaurant, I think, is a pretty special event. It's like an activity. And it's special because you don't go out to eat every day. At least I don't, not the common man, right? We don't have 50 to, yeah. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh my God, hold on. Let me see something. What was I saying? I was petting my dog. Going out can be a pretty special event, but because it's your birthday and it's something that we really have to step up to celebrate, you can't go to that Mexican restaurant that you like, or the Italian place that's 15 minutes away and you go every once in a while. No, you have to go to this really expensive, this really bougie restaurant. It's got to be something like sushi or fish, or one of those really like Michelin star restaurants that overcharge and have these really small portion sizes. You know what I'm talking about? It's the ones where it's like $50 for an entree and you leave like not even full, and so you have to go to another place because what they're serving is quality and not quantity. I'm not coming at the people that go there. I'm just saying that like I want a meal. I don't know if I'm gonna I gotta redo that. When it comes to your birthday, it has to be like this grand activity. Everything has to be bigger and better than the last year. And that just, I feel like there's more to say about that, right? Like the social impact of it, not just the personal one, how we're all trying to one up each other on making like a bigger and better and more lavish birthday. And it goes back to the comparing thing because, you know, especially for social media, if you're really on that, if you're really about that, we have to put on this whole show. We have to make the world see that I'm enjoying, I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving every single second about this day. I gotta milk it for the content too, right? I gotta make sure that where I go is Instagrammable and I fill up the entire carousel, right? I feel like people are like that. They have this expectation in their minds that it needs to reach a certain caliber of amazing, of perfection, or otherwise it won't be a good birthday. And that is such a debilitating mindset to be put into because you're never going to reach that. You're never going to have this super spectacular day where everything is perfect. But because that's the expectation that you've set for yourself and you're going to fall short, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And then we enter this downward spiral like, oh my God, my birthday isn't good. It's never great. It's never amazing. I put all of this time and energy and effort into having it be something amazing, even though I don't want to do anything because I feel this external pressure to do so. I need to celebrate this moment of being at a spot in life where I am not, and then you end up not liking your birthday, and so it's just this negative cycle that repeats every single year. Does that make sense? I did not stop. I just kept going. Side note, I didn't know where to include this. It's just like a quick little tidbit, but it's crazy how even in birthdays, which are a special day for you, that's the whole gist of it, right? We're celebrating you and the fact that you were born today. Even within that special day that we call a birthday, there are special days within those birthdays. Going back to the milestone thing, like just within like just between a 20-year span, right? Just like the quick example, you have your 18th birthday, which we're going to celebrate. Then you have your 20th birthday because you've done 2 decades. Then we have your 21st birthday because now you can drink. Then we have 25 because you're a quarter of a century old. Then we're going to do your 30th birthday because you're 30. Just within those 12 years, there's already 5 days on top of those 12 days that need extra care and extra attention. And that's just so insane to me. I don't know if it is for you, but I think it's very interesting. Conclusion, I always say this stuff. The worst part of the video is the conclusion because I don't know how to end it and I don't want to say goodbye, but I don't have anything more to say. I have gotten better though. I'm going to say I'm leaving you with questions and I would love to know what you think. Do you ever get the kind of dread that I do? Do you feel as though time is like going by like a mile a minute and you're running out? Do you feel the exact opposite and every year is just like a blessing and you want to be even bigger and better and it's just such a great time and you can't understand what it is that I'm saying? Let me know. I would love to hear what it is that you have to say. I'm not going to lie to you. I am so... It's like a conversation that I'm always going to have with myself because this year I didn't really have that big of a dread, but I was just so concerned with how I was going to spend my birthday and how it's going to be good and how great it's going to be. For some reason, it was more worry that others were going to have a good time as opposed to dread about me having a good time, which is completely different. And it's still, in my opinion, like a negative emotion and something that needs to be worked on. But I think that there's always going to be a conversation to be had at around this time of the year, for me at least. And I would love to know if that's the same for you. So with that said, whatever the case may be, thank you so much for giving me the time of day, for hearing my thoughts, and for just being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I will speak to you on the next one. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye.